You're listening to Away with Words, the show about language and how we use it. I'm Grant Barrett.
And I'm Martha Barnett. Well, it turns out that all these years now, I've been mispronouncing the name of the author of Walden. You know, the guy who moved to the woods
yes, I
beside that
saw
pond?
that.
All this time, I thought his name was pronounced Thoreau, but no.
How is it pronounced then?
Thorough.
Thorough. Like
as
I
in I'm
thoroughly did it.
Yeah, or I'm thoroughly surprised that it's pronounced that way. But here's the story. Thoreau's grandfather was of French extraction. He was shipwrecked off the coast of New England in the 1700s and just stayed there, hence the spelling Thoreau, which isn't exactly a New England name, and we actually have written records of neighbors like Louisa May Alcott's father and Ralph Waldo Emerson's son writing about how their friend's name was pronounced Thoreau with the accent on the first syllable. And there's a new Ken Burns film about him on PBS, and the voice actors for that film, including George Clooney and Meryl Streep, were all directed to pronounce his name Thoreau. And apparently that wasn't easy for them. And Grant, is not easy for me either. After all these years, I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that.
And it's not the first time it's happened where we've discovered that a public figure's name was widely mispronounced. I'm thinking of former Vice President Dick Cheney, which everyone says Cheney. Yeah.
Wow. Huh. Well, yeah, the pronunciations and the accents we grow up with, they're really sticky, aren't they?
They really are, and unfortunately, sometimes we only know these names through our reading, which I guess is a good thing, and we don't always get it right, but there's help.
Yeah, and speaking of reading, there's a wonderful new book that I want to talk about later in the show that's called Why We Talk Funny. It's by a linguist, and it's really fascinating, so let's talk about that later in the show.
And we'd love to take your calls and questions. You can call toll-free 1-877-929-9673 in the United States and Canada. Outside of the United States and Canada, you can find our WhatsApp phone number, our email address, and a contact form on our website at waywardradio.org.
Hey there, you have a way with words.
Hey, this is Matt from Grand Rapids. I moved here in October.
Okay, from where?
Well, I moved from Montreal, but I'm from Ohio, so that's where my language knowledge is based.
Okay. Well, what would you like to add to your language knowledge?
Well, apparently there's a divide between Ohio and Michigan because when I got here, I was out with somebody and we met one of his friends, and he's from Big Rapids, which is a small town north of Grand Rapids. And he said, oh, that guy's brother stood up at my wedding. And I was like, how dare he stand up during the wedding? Like, was he standing up to object to the union of the two people up at the front? And he's like, no, what are you talking about? He stood up in the wedding party at the front of the church. And I said, oh, I've never heard that. You would just say normally they were in the wedding party or they were a groomsman. And then I thought it was kind of a one-off. And then it happened again during my team meeting at work where somebody from Michigan said that their son stood up at a wedding last weekend or something. And I was like, that's when I kind of interjected during my meeting. And I was like, never heard that. And then a few other people from Michigan were like, yeah, that sounds normal to me. So I guess it's just a difference between Ohio and Michigan.
No, I don't think that's it. I just think that you're in with a group of people who just get involved with weddings a lot. Like there's this whole period in your life where everything's a wedding. Like every weekend is a wedding. And then it stops.
Well, yeah, that was my 20s for sure. But in Ohio, nobody ever said that.
Are you hanging with a younger crowd now in Michigan who are, in the earlier getting married?
The first guy that said it was 36. And then the other person that said at my meeting was 55. I could think because it was her son, and then a 35-year-old said that they say that all the time. So
I'm just going to say, though, Matt, it's just a coincidence. Or maybe you're just more attuned to it because it's an Americanism used throughout North America, actually. You'll find in Canada, the United States, nothing particular Michigander about it.
Oh.
Yeah, and it goes
Oh,
back
so you've
about
heard it before.
Oh, yeah, it goes back about 200 years to stand up at a wedding. And just like you said, it means to be right up there as the front as the groomsman or the bridesmaid or matron honor or whatever, the best man. But originally, it was just the idea of standing up as a formal witness. You didn't even have to have the official title. Like somebody can stand up for you at the courthouse. It means they show up, they're present to witness it happening, and maybe they'll sign the paperwork as a witness too. That's standing up at a wedding. Like you're literally standing up to show I'm here to say that, yes, this indeed is happened and has happened. And in the future, I'll be able to talk about it authoritatively. Say they are indeed married. And so in some traditions, by the way, the person who stands up may take the role for both the bride and the groom. So they're not a maid or matron of honor or a best man. They're just literally there to stand up for both of the people.
So to stand up at the wedding is just a common phrase that I just have never heard.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know, it happens all the time. Everything that we know, all of our knowledge and our language knowledge was new to us at one point. You just happened to witness the one time you learned something new.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I guess I just hadn't encountered people that use it before. I guess my bubble was smaller than I thought.
No, yeah, but it's just a different bubble. How about that? Nothing wrong with this bubble. Nothing wrong with the old one. Just a new bubble. That's all.
For sure. I guess it kind of evoked the idea of being stood up, which is very negative. To be stood up on a date.
We didn't address that, did we? The confusion of being stood up on a date, or somebody standing up and saying, "I protest. They cannot get married. I've been in love with her for a year."
Well, I won't be adopting it, but I guess I won't be stopping people when they say it anymore.
Yeah, you don't have to say down in front or anything.
All right, Matt, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great one.
All right, take care now. Bye.
Was there something you noticed at the last wedding you attended or something you just can't forget about a particular ceremony? We'd love to hear about it if it has a linguistic angle. Call us 877-929-9673. I recently was doing a live call-in show on the Red River Radio Network. I know you've done this as well, Grant. They serve East Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas and parts of Mississippi. And one of the questions that came in from a listener was about the expression, when the moistures meet.
When the moistures meet. All right, break this down for us.
Okay. Well, apparently it's a piece of traditional farming wisdom, and you don't really see it in books, but it refers to the moment when the moisture in the soil and the moisture in the air are both just right for planting or for growth. So it's this balancing of the ground moisture and the atmospheric moisture that's just right. You just watch and wait for that moment where the moistures meet. I just thought that was such a poetic expression.
But it also represents that fundamental experience and skill that a farmer has after a while, where they just get intuition.
Absolutely.
And they can articulate it maybe, but some of it just is they just act because the land talks to them. They don't even really need to think about why they know it's right. It just is.
Right. They know when the moistures meet.
We love to get calls and messages from people all around the world. No matter where you are, there's a way to reach us. Find that on our website at waywardradio.org/contact. Hello, you have a way with words.
Hi, this is Margie from Pittsburgh.
Hi, Margie in Pittsburgh. Welcome to the show. What's up?
Well, I always wondered about this phrase that my mother used when I scared her or she was angry with me or something. She would say to me, "Margie Ann, you scared the daylights out of me." And I always wondered what that meant.
So the scared the daylights, like there were daylights inside of her? What? Yeah, it's hard to, what does that mean?
I mean, I had this vision of, you know how Little Orphan Annie, that cartoon, she had no eyeballs? She had no pupils in her eyes. I pictured my mother with like not her hair on fire, but like going yoing.
Yeah. With those eyes are classic, right? They're like little pieces of partially eaten pie or something.
And so like she had no more pupils in her eyes because I scared them out or something. I don't know.
Scare the daylights. Now, let me ask you, Margie, have you heard daylights used in any other expressions? Because I think there were a few.
No, that's the only one I've ever heard.
And did she say scared the daylights or scared the living daylights?
I can't remember that she added living to it. I think it was that you scared the daylights out of me.
Okay. I just wondered because I heard that expression a lot growing up, and it was always the living daylights out of you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I probably heard people say it, but I don't remember my mom saying it that way.
Okay, well, it's really interesting that you mention Little Orphan Annie and her eyes because there is an old meaning of daylights that actually means eyes. Those holes in your head where the daylight gets in. In the late 18th century, people would talk about someone's daylights being fixed on the ground. You know, they're just looking down at the ground, or somebody rolled their daylights because they were rolling their eyes. And there was an old expression that meant to darken somebody's daylights, and that's when you give them a black eye. You know, you punch them and you darken their daylights.
But there's another element to the darken their daylights, though, Martha. It's not just the black in their eyes, but to hit them in such a way that their eyes swell shut.
Sure.
Or sometimes even to knock them senseless. So there's another level there.
Yeah, the Classical Dictionary of the Vulgar Tongue from 1796 has an entry where it quotes somebody saying, plump his peepers or daylights, meaning give him a blow in the eyes. So you plump their peepers. But there's another layer to all of this that might be the explanation for scaring the daylights out of someone, and that is the idea that daylights could also mean somebody's essence, their insides, just that light within, I guess would be the way that you describe it.
So the inner soul, kind of the way that you can look at a living person or animal and tell they're alive, just there's something happening in the eyes.
Right. The eyes being the windows of the soul.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Well, thank you so much for calling and sharing this.
Oh, I just love your show. I may call back because I have some other things I want to talk to you about, too.
Absolutely, 100%, Margie.
Oh, Margie, we
You've
wish
been a delight. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you for taking my call.
Yep. All right, be well.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, knock the daylights out of us with your language and linguistic questions, or tell us your puns and your riddles and your jokes. 877-929-9673. Email words@waywardradio.org.
If somebody's really pestering you, they're just going over the same thing again and again and again. There's a wonderful Armenian phrase that translates as, don't iron my head.
Oh, I think that's in other languages as well.
Probably.
Yeah, don't iron my head. Well, we love it when you pester us with calls and emails and social media messages. Go to our website at waywardradio.org and find a dozen ways to reach us and all of our past episodes.
Stay put. We'll be right back to untangle the web of English. You're listening to A Way with Words, the show about language and how we use it. I'm Martha Barnett.
I'm Grant Barrett, and joining us is our quiz guy, John Chinesky, as he descends from a flying saucer. John, where were you?
You don't want to know. It was uncomfortable, and I don't want to talk about it, but at least they had good food. So that's it. Okay. We're just going to leave it a mystery. And speaking of mysteries, today's quiz takes the form of a mystery. We've gathered the whole family and the entire staff of the mansion in the accusing room, and they're waiting for you. The sooner you can deduce who the culprit is in this mystery, the cleverer they will tell everyone you are. Are you ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
good.
my payoff is being known as clever.
That's all you get. Yeah.
Okay.
They don't have a lot of, resources, even though the family seems to be wealthy. Each of the following clues suggests a single word, and when taken together, all of those words will clue the answer to the question, who done it? Got it?
Oh, boy.
All right. These are sort of cryptic style clues. I'll describe the word to you, and you'll have to suss it out. Here we go. A word meaning distant, and the end of him is where you'll find things growing.
A word meaning distant, and the end of him is where you'll find things growing. So far.
Mm-hmm.
And
the end of the
him,
word him.
Farm.
Pharma.
Yes, there you go. Distant.
F-A-R-M, farm.
Far. The end of him is M, and where you'll find things growing is a farm. The start of mother-in-law's kindness is the basis of cheese and yogurt.
The start of mother-in-law's kindness is the basis of cheese and yogurt. So,
Of course, you can back solve.
Oh.
We call that back solving if you
Back-solving.
get the answer first.
yeah, so milk or dairy.
So MIL is mother-in-law.
Right. The start
then-
of mother-in-law's kindness.
Yeah, is MILK.
MILK, very good. That's milk. That's your next answer. You're doing just great. A pair of chopsticks and a caution color is a place to hear classical music performed.
So red would be the stop color.
I said caution, not stop.
Oh, caution. So yellow or amber.
Mhm.
Oh, probably amber. Right?
Mhm.
A chamber.
Yes.
Oh,
What's a pair of
good.
chopsticks?
I don't know, actually. A chop?
CH.
That's a pair of chopsticks?
Yeah, it's a pair of letters
A
from the
pair
word
of
chopsticks.
letters.
Oh,
There you go.
gotcha. Yeah, classic
Pair
cryptic
from-
wording.
Classic cryptic. A pair of chopsticks and a
Oh.
caution color, CH, and amber
Got it.
is a place to hear classical music performed. Your answer is chamber.
Got it.
Chamber. Okay. Now, are you ready to figure out who done it?
Okay, so
You've got the following answers. You've got farm, milk, chamber. What do they have in common?
No clue. Oh, no, that doesn't. I was going to say
Oh.
chambermaid, milkmaid.
we don't have maid in there, though.
No, I'm saying
Right.
the
Well,
maid.
you're supposed to. That's the part you're
the
supposed to.
maid-
That's
Oh, I
the part
see.
you're
Did the
supposed to
maid
get.
do it? Did the maid do it?
Yes, the maid did it.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
the butler had the day off. He was in so.
Oh, I see. They all pair up with maid. Gotcha.
Yes,
Makes sense.
Well done, detectives. Gumshoes. Well done, gumshoes.
I feel
You've
like the
done it.
family of this victim would be very angry with us right now, though.
I think by the time you finish,
solve it.
by the time you finish, you have to go looking for them. They'd be in the drawing room out there smoking and looking through
God.
magazines.
Wow.
waiting for you.
Looks like your alien friends are here to pick you up, John.
Oh,
there he goes.
Bye, John. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you next week.
guys.
And if you have a linguistic mystery that you'd like to have us solve, you got a couple of gumshoes right here who are eager and willing. So give us a call, 877-929-9673, or text us to that same number, or send an email to words@waywardradio.org. Hello, you have a way with words.
Hi, my name's Andres. I'm calling in from Washington Heights. So my question for you guys was that the other day I was listening to some other radio piece. I don't know what it was because I just stumbled upon it. But they had mentioned this idea that in the course of development over evolution, that humans developed the anatomy to speak, but that same anatomy is what allows us to choke. And they didn't elaborate beyond it. They moved on, and then I wasn't able to find the show. So do we know anything about that? Like what that specific anatomy is that allows us to speak, but also allows us to choke as opposed to other animals?
Oh, wow. That must have been quite the tease where you're like, I want more. And then they moved on. You're like, no.
I know.
That happens
They
all the
cut off
time.
right
Radio
when
is
I
just full of language and opportunity. And you're like, no. But also,
Yeah.
you're in Washington Heights and New York City, right? Up by Columbia University?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I know that area very well. Well, it's nice to talk to you, Andres. And I think I can help you with finding that episode you're talking about. It wasn't our show, but of course, it's the classic public radio show, Radio Lab, which does superb science all the time. And they have an episode in January of 2024 called Our Stupid Little Bodies. I love that title because
that makes sense.
it's so accurate. But in that episode, they talk to a bunch of very interesting experts. But one of them is this guy, James Nestor, who wrote this best-selling book called Breath.
Oh, yeah.
The
that's a
New Science
great
of a
book.
Lost Art. I highly recommend that. So either look for that Radio Lab episode, Our Stupid Little Bodies, or maybe find this book by James Nestor, that's Nestor, called Breath. But in general, what he talked about and what the other experts in the show talked about in that Radio Lab episode was that there's this kind of package of bodily changes that make human speech possible. So other primates have some of the stuff that we have in our oral cavity, in our throats, and other places, and could theoretically do it. But then maybe they're lacking this extra region of the brain, or they're actually missing this extra space. So we have, compared to other primates, humans have flatter, less projecting faces. We have a shorter oral cavity, and we have a longer pharyngeal cavity. That's what contains the voice box. And so our tongue sits in a different place, and we can do more exact stuff with our tongues that make all this micro-articulation possible. Oh, yeah, and our larynx is just a little lower in the neck. So it's all this actual physical stuff. We're not even talking about necessarily even the brain yet, the Broca's region and other stuff in there. So we've got this setup for producing these clear vowels and consonants, and the lips and jaw are part of this, and super fine articulation. But as you said, the cost is that in these stupid little bodies, as Radiolab put it, is that food and air pass each other in the same channel in our heads, in our necks. And so the same passage that the air comes through to breathe and to talk is right next to the one where the food passes. So yeah, it absolutely does make it easier for us to choke.
Wow, yeah, thanks. That's a great answer. I got more things to look at.
Yeah.
More radio, more books to read.
The world is filled with knowledge and lots of people who just want to tell you things.
Yeah. I'm ready for it.
All right, we'll link to that book and the Radiolab episode on our website. But thank you, Andre, so much for calling us about this.
Thank you very much.
All
See you
right,
guys.
take care now.
Take care.
You can go to our website at waywardradio.org and find a contact form on every page, or tell us an email what you've been reading and what we should read too, words@waywardradio.org.
Nancy Gabriel from Ithaca, New York, sent us this remembrance. On the farm, there wasn't much sympathy for whining, so my pop had a couple of favorite sayings when I'd hurt myself. After he'd made sure I was really okay, he'd say, it's far enough from your heart, it won't kill you. It's far enough from your heart. Or else he'd say, what'd you do, fall and step on it?
Which just doesn't make any sense, but
yeah, I'm
it's
just
going to
picturing her
distract you
looking
from
up.
your boo-boo, right?
Exactly.
Well, we hold the phone close to our hearts, so when you call, we'll see those little lights go up, 877-929-9673. Hello, you have a way with words.
Hi, so glad to talk to you.
Hi, who am I talking to?
This is Claire. I'm basically from New York, but I'm presently in Philadelphia, but that's not necessarily relevant to my question.
But it's a huge story, I bet. Two of the world's great
Oh,
cities,
indeed
and
it
you've
is.
lived in them both.
That's right.
What's on your mind, Claire?
Okay, so I had a friend who recently passed away, and I've known her since 96, so we're talking a good amount of time. And she was known by some of her phrases. And one of her phrases that we never knew really where it came from, but she used all the time was, since Christ left Philadelphia. Like, I haven't seen you since Christ left Philadelphia. And we're like, okay, that's been a long time, Tony. And we never knew why it was Christ in Philadelphia.
And so tell us a little bit about your friend. Was she super religious, and this was just kind of her way of, like, being a little naughty?
No, she is, well, I guess, I mean, she was raised Catholic, but she's definitely not religious in that way.
Okay.
She's from second generation Italian and from Connecticut.
Okay. Gotcha.
And she had so many phrases that she used all the time that at her service, they made a 2-page list.
Oh, that's amazing. That's a memory stored right there.
Oh, totally.
So since Christ left Philadelphia, Martha, that's a long time ago, right?
Apparently, yeah. Apparently so. Claire, I'm wondering if you've heard any other versions of that phrase, or is it always Christ and always Philadelphia?
Oh,
It was
really?
only her. It was only her, and that's the only thing she ever said. She didn't ever alter it or change it in any way, and she was like known for that and many other things, but it was always since Christ left Philadelphia. I'm like, okay.
I'm surprised, Martha, Claire,
Interesting.
because Claire, there are so many of these.
Yeah, it's a particular pattern that we see a whole lot, particularly since Christ left Chicago. That's the one that I've heard. I
But
mean,
sometimes it's Cleveland, but yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my.
And it's this pattern of, since somebody left some place, and it's usually some historical figure, somebody really improbable, since Moses did something, or George Washington or Caesar. But yeah, the idea is that it was a long time ago. And the ones that combine Christ, I've seen it more often as since Christ was a cowboy, or since Christ was a corporal. I know John Dos Passos, the writer in 1921, had a book called Three Soldiers, and there were a couple of mentions in that book where soldiers were saying, "I ain't had any pay since Christ was a corporal." So it's always this improbable, just weird thing. I know, Grant, you know a lot of other expressions like this that
Well,
fit that
what's
pattern,
interesting
right?
is the kind of first one that we know of, which I don't know for sure that it was in the same jocular tone, but it's from Shakespeare in Twelfth Night. He says, since before Noah was a sailor, to mean a long time. And it kind of sets
Wow.
a pattern there where we get these religious figures showing up.
Uh-huh.
So it's before since this religious figure did X, whatever it was. So
Right.
you'll get like since Jesus was a baby, or since this is my
Uh-huh.
favorite, since Pontius was a pilot.
Oh,
Double
that's
joke there.
terrible.
But also since
That's right.
Adam was an oakum boy, Oakum, and an oakum boy was a young man who recaulked or resealed the seams on ships. And a lot of
Right.
these earlier
Right.
ones, just like the Noah was a sailor, are nautical.
Yeah, and a lot of those biblical ones too, right? Like since Methuselah was a boy, Methuselah
Yep.
being hundreds of years old, since dirt
Wow.
was rock.
Wow.
Since dirt was rock, yeah. But look for things like on our website for like since Hector was a pup or since Suki was a calf. And you'll
hmm
find a whole bunch more of these because we just have lists of them.
Okay, cool. That's great. Thank you so much.
All right, you take care now. And thank you for sharing with us.
Happy trails.
Same to you.
Same to you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
We'd love to hear your language memories of the loved ones in your lives. 877-929-9673 is a magical toll-free number 24 hours a day from the United States and Canada, or email us words@waywardradio.org.
Hello, you have a way with words.
Hi, this is Mackenzie from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Hey, Mackenzie, we're glad to have you. What's on your mind?
So I'm calling today with a word that I learned about 10 years ago from my friend in Pennsylvania. The word is called ajna. So it's like having the ajna would mean like if you've eaten too much, you're sluggish, your digestion is full, you've got the ajna. It's kind of akin to the meat sweats. And I just kind of wondered if it was a family term from him or if it is a common term.
Oh, yes. Probably yes to both of those, but definitely a common for parts of Pennsylvania. Let me guess, from southeast Pennsylvania near New Jersey.
He was from Bethlehem, I think.
So Bethlehem being on the eastern part of the state makes a lot of sense because that's where a lot of Italian Americans live, and it comes from Italian.
Oh,
So usually the way you said it was ajna?
the ajna.
The ajna. I love it with the
The
article in
ajna.
there. Usually these days it is spelled Agita, but you might see it as Argida, Argada, or agita, Agida. And the reason there's some variation in pronunciation and spelling is that for a long time it was only transmitted orally. It comes to mainstream English through Italian Americans and from dialects of Italian, where there's this word that means acidity or heartburn. It's pronounced something like acidita, and that
Oh.
became corrupted in the mouths of people who were maybe second or third generation Italian Americans and not, fresh from Italy or fresh from the parts of Italy where they use this word. So usually Southern Italian dialects in any case. So yeah, the word originally meant physical heartburn or acid indigestion, but as you said, could be meat sweats or even just the extreme tiredness that you get from overeating or eating too richly. But over time, the word has modified to mean aggravation or anxiety or fretfulness. And you particularly will see it in expressions like, you're giving me the agita. Stop doing that. Meaning you're making me anxious. You're giving me aggravation, or you're giving me heartburn, whatever you're doing or whatever you're saying. It shows up in print in the late 1970s in New York State. So lots of Italian Americans throughout the New Jersey, Eastern Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Long Island kind of region. Tons of Italian Americans. A huge, huge population of Italian Americans even now. And so this word starts to show up, or people are talking about it. It's almost always indicated as, oh yeah, as the Italians say, or as the Italian Americans say, or as they say in New Jersey, that sort of thing. And then it shows up in the 1984 movie Broadway Danny Rose, which was a big hit. And Nick Apollo-Forte plays a character called Luca Nova. And he sings a song about the agita. He actually sings to his agita in the song. And it's got hilarious lyrics like, agita, my compa in the pan zone, meaning agita, my pal in the belly. And he's talking about this agita. Whenever the singer gets to eat a treat, it's like a canzone, a song, and the agita enjoys every meal, every bite that I steal. Agita, my kumpa, in the panzone. So it's a really fun song. He does a great job singing it, and that kind of really made it take off from there. And then, of course, it shows up in The Sopranos, and that kind of further entrenched it in broader English outside of Italian Americans and that part of the East Coast.
Well, that is so interesting, and I've been using the term all over the country ever since then. So,
are people getting it? Do they understand it when you say it?
No, they don't. Never.
Okay.
I always have to explain.
Yeah.
But then the term is being passed on.
Boy, I can sure picture Tony Soprano saying it.
Yeah,
though.
definitely, right? James Gandolfini, that's absolutely coming out of his mouth. I mean, I don't know for sure, but if it didn't, it should have.
There's definitely some acid there, acid indigestion.
I mean, if you got to go to a therapist, you got tons of agita.
Right. Mackenzie, thank you so much for this question. I learned a lot.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. You call us again sometime, all right?
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
You won't give us the agita if you make that phone go nuts. Give us a call, 877-929-9673. That's a toll-free number in the United States and Canada, 24 hours a day. And if you're listening from somewhere else, you can always email us, words@waywardradio.org. You're listening to Away with Words, the show about language and how we use it. I'm Grant Barrett.
And I'm Martha Barnett. And if you've ever wondered how different regional accents came to be, or why it's so hard to master an accent in a second language later in life, or maybe you've wondered how people in colonial America sounded, or for that matter, why so many people hate the word moist, have I got a book for you. It's called Why We Talk Funny, The Real Story Behind Our Accents. It's by Valerie Friedland. She's a professor of linguistics at the University of Nevada, Reno. And her book is all about how humans acquire our accents and how our accents affect so many aspects of our daily lives, often without our even realizing it. Now, of course, Grant, you and I touch on these ideas all the time, but what I love about her book is that it's this comprehensive look at the whole topic through the lenses of history and science and psychology. And she's a linguist, of course, so she covers everything from the babblings of babies and the evolution of human speech to how incredibly quickly people tend to make judgments today about somebody based solely on their accent. And she also covers all kinds of history from Proto-Indo-European to the story of how settlement patterns in the U.S. directly influenced what we recognize as distinctive dialects today. And she shows how those regional accents are changing and in some cases starting to fade away. And the book's also a helpful guide for understanding how linguists talk about all those movements of the lips and tongue to produce various sounds. And her book is backed up by lots and lots of scholarly research. She cites study after study to make her points, and there are wonderful extensive footnotes that are great for drilling down if you want to learn more, and I've already marked several of them myself. But as you might guess from the title, Why We Talk Funny, it's also breezy and clear and really entertaining. In fact, it reminds me of that one memorable teacher you had in school for a tough subject, the one where everybody's saying, take Friedland's class because she
Yeah.
makes it fun.
I wonder her Rate My Professor reviews are like.
Yeah, I'm sure. But anyway, just to sum up, it's a great introduction to linguistics in general, but also to the idea that accents can connect us, but they can also divide us. And it's a great reminder that the idea that there's only one right way to sound is both historically and linguistically misguided.
Oh, yeah, that's a lesson we try to teach all the time. And the book
Yep.
again is.
It's called Why We Talk Funny, The Real Story Behind Our Accents.
And Valerie Friedland is a professor and linguist at the University of Nevada, Reno. I know her professionally, and I can 100% confirm that she's the real deal. So totally looking forward to digging further into this book, and we will link to it from our website. And as always, Martha and I love to find out what you're reading. What are you reading right now? What's the thing you can't put down? Let us know. Send it an email to words@waywardradio.org or call us on the telephone, toll-free in Canada and the U.S., 877-929-9673. Hello, you have a way with words.
Hi, this is Tom from Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. My question is, last summer I came back from walking in the woods, and I checked myself for ticks. I did a tick check, and I realized that tick check is the opposite of an oxymoron. Instead of two words that are opposites, it's two words that mean the same thing. Both tick and check mean check mark.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if there was a word for this opposite of an oxymoron. It's not really a redundancy because they're only synonyms out of context. But yeah, I wanted to know what you guys thought.
All right, so let's break this down just a little bit, kind of re-explain this in other words. So you've got the compound tick check, where you're literally checking your body for the arachnids known as ticks.
Yes.
And the interesting linguistic curiosity that you noticed, good eye, by the way, is that tick and check can both mean check mark. So both parts of the compound are synonyms.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Gosh, a word for that. I'm not aware of one. I mean, the linguistic terms we can talk about here are polysemy, which refers to how words can have multiple meanings, as you pointed out. Tick could be like the noise that a clock makes, but also that little critter. And then check can be something you write or an inspection. I'm trying to think of in fact, any other word combinations like that?
Well, I have a few, but let's just explain polysemy for a second, or at least spell it, Polysemy. Polysemy is a word may have more than one meaning, which is pretty standard across all of English.
It's also worth mentioning that in everyday phrases, the English language usually avoids pairing true synonyms, unless they're doing it on purpose in legal language, and then it's usually separated by and, like null and void or will and testament. So,
peace and quiet.
Yeah.
And those are tautologies, or those doublets, as they're called in legalese, are tautologies. And then there's pleonasm, which is not quite the right term either. So this isn't a tautology or a pleonasm. Pleonasm is when a word or expression contains more words than it really needs to say the same thing. So advance warning or past history.
Yes, and so we're talking about something really succinct. I don't know. Tom, do you have a word for this?
So I thought since it was the opposite of an oxymoron, I'd play off oxymoron, and I'm not like a big Latin guy, but I did some research. Oxymoron means smart dumb, and I thought we'd do a smart, so I came up with oxysophen.
Yeah, from Greek, huh? Or what if you just called it a moranoxy?
More an oxy. That's
backwards.
good. I like that.
I mean, seriously, I don't think this is a very big category of
No.
words, if at all. I mean, the only thing that I can think of is maybe stress test, in that you stress something and test something, and both of those things
I've got
mean
some
the
more
same
for you
thing.
guys if you want them.
Seriously,
I
really?
have some too.
Oh, you do? Let's hear them, Tom.
Head start both mean beginning. And I guess like dude bro, but I guess that's a tautology.
Dude, bro.
Yeah, dude, bro. Yeah, that's a.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
about match game? The international championship
Oh,
matches are
that's a
sometimes
good
called
one.
match games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or suitcase, a piece of luggage. But both words suit and case can mean a legal proceeding.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so we got a few of these. But you know what? We have many puzzlers listening to the show. Many of them are members of the National
Yeah.
Puzzlers League, which I highly recommend you check out because it sounds like they're going to be right down your alley, Tom. And maybe our NPL friends will jump in here with a bunch more examples and maybe even have a word for it.
Awesome. I love more on oxy though. It's great.
Yeah, I do too. I like yours though. Oxysophon sounds sophisticated. That sounds.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm going to
it
name my next business that, I think.
I think it sounds like a medication, oxysophon, from the Greek.
All right. Well, keep those tick checks going, and you don't want to get them in the unfortunate crevices and come down with Lyme disease.
I appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care of
Okay.
yourself, Tom, and thanks
Stay
for talking
tuned.
with us today.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
One expression that I've been tracking just recently, I've seen it in a few social media posts, and it's AI breath. Isn't that great? AI breath refers to writing that's stale and lacks personality. You know, it has AI breath.
Oh, I thought you were talking about when you have the AI talk to you and it does these fake pauses as if it really needs to breathe.
Oh,
It really does, though. But the AI breath that I see on social media is lots of short sentences, 1 or 2 words, maybe 3, but one
Yep.
right after the other.
yeah.
And, it'll say, like, hold, breathe, think about it. And it just it just takes a while to get to the point.
Oh, gosh.
I think we're going to get to the point where the same way that we can recognize when drones became a thing and making movies and television, everybody had to use a drone.
Right.
We're going to look back at this era and say, oh, yeah, that was the AI era. that was when
Yeah.
people were giving their creativity over to machines.
Yeah.
We love it when you write to us straight from your heart, and don't let your computer do it. We want to hear from you. Email us words@waywardradio.org or go to our website at waywardradio.org and find a dozen more ways to reach us.
Hi, you have a way with words.
Hi, this is Susan Rogie from Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Hey, Susan, we're glad to have you. What's on your mind today?
Well, I listened to a previous episode where you talked about food language quirks, and I immediately thought of something my mother always told my sisters and I. If we were resisting eating something that we didn't like, she would say that we should eat it because it would grow hair on our back teeth. We thought that sounded disgusting, and it was no inducement at all for us to eat that.
I guess
She
not.
said that her granny told her as she was growing up the same thing. And she thought it would be just very exciting to grow hair on her back teeth, and it made her want to eat it. But we're not sure. It made us question our mother, for one thing. But also, it was just an odd expression, which I have never heard anybody else say or. I really don't talk about it a lot because it's a little embarrassing.
So, Susan, it's like, eat your vegetables, you'll grow hair on your back teeth, as if that's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I heard about, doing things that put hair on your chest, but I thought that was more like alcohol related.
Yeah, that's right. So there's a couple different ways into this, but let me ask, do you have recentish Germanic heritage in your family? Somebody from one of the German-speaking countries?
I would say so, that it was on the side of the family where there were roots to Germany.
Okay, because there's an expression in German which is to have hair on your teeth, not necessarily back teeth.
Oh,
It's Haare auf den Zähnen haben. And it's fairly common and still currently used, and it's quite old, actually, a couple
wow.
hundred years old. The German poet and novelist Goethe is quoted as using it when he talks about Berliners being a daring, hard-edged sort of people who can be delicate but must have hair on their teeth, or
Hmm.
or be coarse in
Oh.
their manner in order to stay above the mess in the crowd. But so yeah,
Mm.
it's a couple hundred years. But this is not quite the same expression because it's to have hair on your teeth in German is really about being assertive or courageous or speaking fearlessly or with a great deal of
Mhm.
wit, or sometimes speaking in such a way that you never agree with anyone else, being very argumentative. So there's a lot of different nuances here. And it's popped
Hmm.
up in other European languages like Danish as well. But I think you were on another track that I think is important here. Earlier, when you mentioned people say drinking strong alcohol puts hair on your chest. And what I think we've got
Mhm.
in your great grandmother or your mother is a combination of these two. I think they've come together in one person. So it's a little bit of one, a little bit of that, a little bit off of menu A, a little bit off of menu B. The Because
Yes.
this expression to put hair on one's chest, usually said about eating strong food or drinking strong drink, isn't as old as the German expression, only going back maybe 100 or so years. But it's
Mhm.
about toughening up. It's by comparison to an adult. You go. One of the most visible signs of becoming an adult is, being tall and strong, but also having hair in
Mhm.
unusual places.
Right.
um,
Well,
and so, yeah, so I think it's both of these coming together, saying you eat your vegetables and you'll be tall and strong. You become an adult, and having the jokey way
mm,
of talking about the hair showing up in unusual places just adds a
mhm.
little icing on the saying, I think.
But the back teeth, I just
Yeah, well, I think the teeth part came from the German expression. I think it's the German expression has collided with the American one and formed this new thing
Mhm.
in your family.
Well, Susan, I'm glad your husband never saw any evidence of this.
No, no, he says no, and so it is not a common thing, I guess. But well, I will let my sisters know because
Sure.
they will be interested to know, where this all came from.
But Susan, thank you so much for sharing with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for giving me your time and the information.
Yeah, happy to
Thanks
do
for
it.
calling, Susan.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
You can call or text us 877-929-9673. Hi, you have a way with words.
Hi, this is Tess. I'm calling from southeastern Pennsylvania, and I was just wondering about the word coleslaw.
And what were you wondering about the word coleslaw?
I guess there's just so many cabbage-based dishes in so many cultures, and the one that I'm most used to is coleslaw. And I was kind of wondering what the origin of that word is. Is it coleslaw, slaw?
Yeah, that's hard to parse, right?
It is.
Yeah, because there's not many other words that on the surface look the same or like they share roots, but we're gonna fix that for you. We've got a few words that are surprisingly connected to it. So coleslaw comes to English from Dutch. There's a word coleslaw, which literally sounds the same, but it's spelled differently. Koolsla, which means cabbage salad. It's as simple as that. But that cole
Wow.
part, the COLE in English, is the interesting part of this because it's the same root as the word kale, KLE, and the cauli in cauliflower. And they're all brassicas, and I believe that they all originally come from the same plant anyway. They're just, bred differently over time. So we have that same root. And kohlrabi, the KOHL in kohlrabi, it's the same word. It all goes back to Latin, to this word that means hollow stem or stalk, caulis, CAULIS.
Do you know when that happened? When we started calling coleslaw? Long time ago, I guess.
A long time
right?
ago, yeah. It's part of the Dutch heritage. We don't actually have that many words that are pure, straight up Dutch in English. So we're looking at it in Dutch as early as the 1700s, and then the Dutch experience in the United States brought it here in the late 18th century.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you so much.
Yeah, it's cool, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
if you get a chance, it's not linguistic, but look into all the breeding done over the many centuries to get that one plant to turn into all these different vegetables, all these brassicas, as they're known as a group. And it is incredibly interesting. It is so interesting. Some of them are the same plant, just picked at a different time of the growth cycle. It's just astonishingly interesting what has happened here with this one plant.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into it. It's one of my favorite foods. So
Oh, I love it
that
with a
was kind
little
of
caraway seed. For some reason, a vinegar-based
yes,
coleslaw with caraway
yes.
seed. I don't know why I love that so much, but I love it.
Yeah, and I do like the idea of cold, nicely chilled, with a fish sandwich or something.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Tess. We appreciate the call. You call us again sometime, all right?
Thank you so much. I'm a huge fan.
Oh, thank you.
Glad to have you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Tess. Well, astonish us with a question about language. 877-929-9673. Away with Words senior producer is Stephanie Levine. Tim Felton is our engineer and editor, and John Chinesky is our quizmaster.
Go to waywardradio.org for all of our past episodes, podcast links, and ways to reach us.
If you have a language thought or question, the toll-free line is always open in the U.S. and Canada, 1-877-929-9673.
Away with Words is an independent nonprofit production of Wayward Inc.
It's supported by listeners and organizations who are changing the way the world talks about language.
Although we're not a part of NPR, we thank NPR stations throughout the United States that carry the show.
And special thanks to our nonprofit's volunteer board, Michael Breslauer, Josh Eccles, Claire Grotting, Meryl Perlman, Bruce Rogo, Rick Seidenworm, and Betty Willis.
Thanks for listening. I'm Grant Barrett.
And I'm Martha Barnett. Until next time, goodbye.
So long.